Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Here to discuss, get my notes out the way, discuss Bel-Air Season 4, Final Season, Episode 5. This one's called, I think it was called Gorilla Glue and Duct Tape. So in this one, we have some parallels happening. Will gets approached by this school, the school that he was wanting to go to. The coach or whatever that came to his game was talking about they had another spot or something. So anyway, this other coach approached him. He's like, look, talking about a full ride, come see my school, yada, yada, yada. So Will goes down to that school to talk to that coach. Meanwhile, Carlton is talking to someone that Uncle Phil set him up with that had attended Princeton, another young black man. And he was basically telling Carlton that, it's going to be, this excellence thing. This, when you are a black person and you're a minority in a prestigious college, it's a lot on your shoulders because it's like you're the face, right? Of, as he said in the episode, all the young black kids that couldn't make it, you're the face. So it's like you're carrying this load of, got to be the best just to be compared to the average, whatever. And Carlton's rolling this over in his head, and he's like, that's like how it is at the high school. Because he's in a private school, and earlier on in the first season, he was abusing cocaine, he was lying, he was trying to stay afloat. He ain't too long lied, trying to get into Princeton about that little essay. So he's rolling it over in his mind. Will's talking to the coach, and Will's excited. He's wanting to do this business thing because they have that black shirt, right? Business they're going. And the coach is pretty much like, look, just dribble the ball. He was like, basketball is your major. You know what I'm saying? And he's just reduced down to an athlete. Now, don't be offended. I'm not saying that being an athlete is bad, but if a student is saying he wants to do more, not just basketball, he wasn't hearing him. He just wanted him to dribble a ball and shoot it in a hoop, and that's it. So towards like the end of this episode, we see Will and Carlton, and I like how they went back and forth, right? Like Carlton's looking at his laptop. Will is looking at his PC, and they're both making a decision on, is this what I really want? And Carlton's been chasing Princeton for probably since he was still in diapers. Will is looking at this opportunity like, man, it's a full ride. But I don't want to just do ball. I want to major in something that I actually want to, you get what I'm saying? So on this episode, we don't see what they chose yet. So we will be finding that out here in the next episodes or so, right? So Miss Tony Childs, that's what I call her, homegirl from Girlfriends, Miss Tony Childs, she runs up in Jazz's store and I guess wanted to have some little on-site quickie. Now he's like, kind of like feeling like a piece of meat, like, let me take you out to dinner or something. She's like, no, I just want to blah, blah, blah. Now I knew something was up when because I'm like, okay, you either got something going on that you don't want him to know about, or you're just using him for a little piece of young meat, okay? So she pops up in his store while Will and Carlton are there. Now, keep in mind, she's like an aunt to them. She's real cool with Aunt Viv. So it's funny because Will caught on really fast. Carlton didn't. And he was like, Aunt Pamela, hey, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, well, I work for the the weed cannabis thing. And I was just helping Jazz, blah, 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 blah. And they acting kind of funny. Well, you want me to come back? And Will's looking like, and he's like, this is the part. This is why we know she didn't want to go out to dinner. Carlton was like, say hi to, what's his name, Tyrone or something. And Jazz was like, who is that? It's like, that's her husband. And then Jazz is like, pause real quick. I want to say something though and come back to that. That's really messed up when people do that, because you're putting people's lives in danger. Like, we don't know how crazy your husband is. So here Jazz is thinking he's just having a fling with this older woman, even though I feel like it was still wrong because you're mixing business with pleasure. This is real close to home. But the fact that she didn't let him know that she was married, it's like, what if your husband is a gangster, gun toting? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that are 6 feet under right now because somebody's husband or wife done shot them and they didn't even know what's going on. So that's when she leaves, Will lets Carlton know, man, you know, they messing around. Can't you see it or whatever? I felt sorry for Jazz and Miss Tony Childs. So, of course, with that happening, Tony runs to Aunt Viv because she probably figures they're going to say something to her. So she tells her that she's messing with Jazz, and Viv wasn't really judgmental, even though she's married. I guess it's kind of like grown people are gonna do what they do. I mean, what else can Vivian do? Like, if you want to cheat on your husband, I mean, I guess, girl. It's just like the other day, I got up here and started yawning. But while she's there talking to Aunt Viv, she lets Aunt Viv know that something has been flagged with Jazz's business. And, you know, Uncle Phil is wrapped up in it, using his business to launder money, wash that money or whatever. So Aunt Viv's like, oh my God, she's already stressed out about this whole money laundering thing. And I would be too, because it's like, you don't know, when you're not a part of that like underground world like Jeffrey is, you don't really know what to expect. So it's like she's dealing with this pregnancy, she's worried about her husband, her family. She was really trying to keep it together when Tony was telling her that. So, dried pixie cut lace front. That's Jeffrey's play sister. They grew up together. He got adopted or something. She's still hounding Jeffrey, trying to get him back to London. He's telling her no. She calling him a house Negro. Girl. And he turned around and told her, like, look, okay, you a slave too. You just got on different chains, which is true. It's like, I don't understand. She's acting like she can't run this little criminal enterprise without Jeffrey. She's telling him like he doesn't know. Back in the day, you know, your name was whispered in the streets and you had lieutenants and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, people grow up. Now, I'm assuming Jeffrey, now the real life actor is like 10 years older than me. So he's in his late 40s. Okay, I'm assuming this character, he was probably like teens, early 20s doing that. You're supposed to grow up, especially when you have kids. He's like, look, I'm not trying to be out there doing that stuff. Like, girl, come on, you still living in the past, talking about some I have lieutenants and all this stuff. You think this is a movie? She got on my nerve. I can't stand her. I can't stand that lady. But he's basically telling her, look, the job is done. We did your little money washing, laundering thing. Go on about your business. That's So, Uncle Phil gives them this, Will and Carlton, this project on working on a car because he wants to teach them some kind of, I don't know, some kind of skill. Because they were like, and Viv was like, Carlton doesn't even know how to open a soup can and all this stuff. I'm going to say this, when I moved away from home, there was a lot I didn't know how to do. Like, I know this is going to sound really crazy, but I didn't know how to pump my gas and have that little thing hold. Like, I didn't know how to pump it and latch it down to where I can walk away. Right? So I was just out there fussing and fussing. So I finally just went in the owner and I'm like, man, how do you put the thing? I know this sounds crazy. I'm not slow. I just didn't. When you're not used to doing stuff, that's how it is. Like, I had to find out so much on my own. So he's basically trying to teach him something with, you know, fixing up this car, this old school car. This is a car that him and his father were supposed to fix up together, but his father ended up passing away when he went off to school and stuff. That's why it's so important to him. But Will and Carlton, they ain't feeling it or whatever. Sat there, broke a mirror off the car, and Will was like, well, we just get some Gorilla Tape and blah, blah, blah. And Uncle Phil was that, but that's why he was feeling so, for one, it's like, look, I didn't get the opportunity to do this project with my father because he passed. And it really makes you appreciate the time that you have with your folks. If you have good, like, cause I learned, and this is something I learned later on in life, everybody's parents aren't good. Everybody's parents aren't. So I can't judge and be like, you only got one dad, you only got one mom. So I'm going to say this, like I said, when you have good parents that have been involved in your life, that have taught you, shown you affection, no neglect, when they want you to do something like that, even if you don't really want to do it, I mean, it's an experience to have. And this part of this episode reminded me of Family Matters. It was this type of situation like that where Eddie really didn't want to help. What was Eddie's daddy name? Carl. It was a car project. He didn't really want to help him on that. But it reminded me of that, put me in that mindset. But they did get the mirror fixed, and they ended up taking a cruise in LA, the top down, because it's convertible. I said, you know what? I was born in Cali, but I have not been in Cali since I was 3 years old. So I would love to go back. I actually tried to go back for my birthday, March 2020. And we all know what happened then and why I couldn't go. But anyway, that's definitely still on my bucket list. So back to Aunt Viv, when she gets this news from Tony, she's trying to call Uncle Phil to let him know, like, look, shit's about to hit the fan. He has his phone down in the car. He doesn't hear it. They're probably playing music. He didn't hear it. Then she starts having contractions and the episode goes off. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope they do not have a miscarriage, Aunt Viv, please. But we're going to have a baby Nikki coming, okay? I also forgot to put in the notes that they did one of those gender reveal cakes. And it came out blue, so we're looking at a baby boy, Nikki baby boy. Just like the first, the OG Bel-Air, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I forget about Nikki. Like, when I think about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I'm thinking about, as far as the kids are concerned, I'm thinking about Hillary, Carlton, and Ashley. I always forget about Nikki. I guess because he didn't pop up until, well, he was there half the time, because the OG Aunt Viv was pregnant in real life. So she was there season 1, 2, 3. Then season 4, 5, 6. They had, what's her name? Daphne Maxwell Reed. And so he was on there about, half the time that the show was on. But I always forget about little Nikki. But anyways, let me know what you think about this episode, season 5. Now the season is over, final season. I don't know if they're gonna have like a spinoff. I don't know, man. I do wish that they would have had as many seasons as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I guess with Will and Carlton both graduating high school, they're like, you know what, let's just end it here. Even though Ashley's just starting, but let's end it here. Shout out to my 182 subscribers. Shout out to the rest of you as well who are not subscribed, but you know you can by hitting that button for me. Peace and blessings to every last one of you watching. Until next time.